First of all, look, I just want to say it's amazing to be here. This is our first time to Gama as a Walpari project delegation. There's a small crew of us, but some really important men here. Just to my left, I'll introduce the men. So right on the left, a lot of you would know this man, Ned Hargreaves, Jampijinpa. In the middle is Robin Granitz, Japananga. Next one is Geoffrey Matthews, Jakamarra. Geoffrey's from Lajamanu. The other men are from Yuendumu. And to my right is Lazarus Hargreaves, Jungala. As you'd notice, our last names, they're all our skin names. So all the men start with a J, but we'll talk through that later. Before we get into the story, I just want to acknowledge and thanks the Gumatj clan, the Gama organisers, the foundation, and all the people involved. It's an amazing event. The hours, the long hours of what people have put into this is a big credit to the Gumatj clan and to all the people up here. A special thanks to Denise Bowden and to Sean. I know they've been trying to get us up here for probably 3 or 4 years. We've sort of held off because we wanted to tell a really good story and share a good story with you all. So yeah, we finally made it. Really important is to the chairman or the man who spoke so eloquently yesterday, Mr. Jawa Yunipingu. And us Walpari sat down after and we were just so inspired by your speech. So thank you as well for your invitation. I know you and Mr. Hargreaves have got a connection that goes back a fair bit. But just again, thank you for the powerful words, your inspiration. Can I say that Walpari always look to Yolngu and Gumatj people as for our inspiration. What you've achieved is so much, and it's what our ambitions to achieve is into the future. So I might just ask Mr. Matthews, Jakamarra, just to say a few words, acknowledgement of country and Mr. Yunipingu and the families here in Walpari. Jakamarra?
Yo, yo, Lajamana, Walpari man, as a leader of my community as well, or a community in Yuendumu, Lajamano, nearby Wilara. Nabulangan ba invite mano, or any bingo family. First time. We got a strong law up that way. Oh, sorry. Strong law we are not running Yuendumula. Alam Sandanga, Lajaman Yuendumu, nearby. We got strong law. Anem Guyana Lano, Nanurungan invite Mano, Guyana Lambo, Varano Yurgala Gora. Really good. What you can and Yano Lord. Pergi kalian mulane. Ane punyang, ale punyang, I have you looking at me in TV, but number now, in the Jagaliba. Not only first time Lajamano and Yunibunga family, Murjo. That's why I don't know. But Japalijarri Lamaniga, Mr. Hargreaves and Jungala, my nephew, we teaching them to. Pangane makujan yang nalijan kuru kulang weda rakuyal bangjan yang pejanga peli kalian ngurjuman. Penamani kalian kuru sarai. Mula jangkar wuri jare, when they go through the initiation, they know everything. Mula bunyi kalang kuru wari. Pula Papinjak, Yunbanjaku, Puruarek, and a song line, Murjo. I will say thanks for the lead up there. One of the Yunibingo, I knew two of his brother, Mulyabang palang. We used to meet up in Paranga Festival. That was really ngurjunyal paling strong. That's why namay palang ngurjuman jala yamujala. Thank you.
There we go. Won't talk too long on the background of our community. You can Google Yuendumu, Google Walpari, and sometimes Google's good, sometimes it's not, because the narrative about our mob is not always the right narrative. So, about our project, it was created in 2019. It was established by myself and my son, Jamie. We'd done a visit to the Strello Research Centre in Alice Springs 2019, around September, with a couple of senior men, Mr. Granitz, who's here with us today, and Kuman J. Nelson. At the Strello Centre, we viewed our sacred objects. Many of those were viewed by Walpari for the very first time. They'd been sitting in crates for decades. So that came to our head that there's an urgent situation here where our cultural heritage material sitting in containers, in crates, where they don't belong. They belong in country. They belong with the elders, the community, to allow for intergenerational transfer of knowledge. We still are losing a lot of our senior leaders, knowledge holders, very quickly. So that's why it was an urgent project that we set up. So since 2019, that's the map there. So Walpari country is in the Tanami Desert. It's the third largest desert in Australia. It's about, I think, 700,000 square kilometres. So it's a pretty big area. So colonial impact came a bit later for us, but it was massive. Impact was hard. It was we've had 2 recorded massacres, one at the Granitz in 1912, and then the one that is probably the last recorded massacre at Coniston, along with Amajara and Kadich people. So, and that was in 1928, so it's nearly 100 years ago was the last recorded massacre in Australia. Again, the narratives: savage tribe, savage people. The Board of Anthropology Research. So they was the very first Board of Anthropology in Australia at the Adelaide University. After the massacre, there was a ripple effect across not only Australia, the world. They heard about Walpari and they heard about the massacre. And so the bar in 1931 started their expeditions through the Granitz, through Cockatoo Creek, through the Tanami. So 1950 to 1980, we've seen dozens and dozens of anthropologists, researchers, museum professionals who visited Walpari and studied us. Ahead of their time. So when we do our work, when we visit museums, and we've visited 30 museums in Australia in the last 6 years. We did a major trip over to Germany last year, to Senckenberg and Frankfurt and Grazi in Leipzig, where we returned cultural heritage material. But there's estimated that around 1,200 sacred Walpari men's ceremonial items have been collected since 1931. And that's just the sacred items. The Yuendumu Men's Museum movement, so as I said, these men were doing the opening of the Yuendumu Men's Museum. It's still there today. They built it themselves from their stone quarry. They funded it themselves with the help of Pintabee men and a man called Bob Edwards. And it's still there today. So this is 1965, and they built it for a keeping place to store the sacred objects that they were worried about. They were trailblazers, leaders ahead of their time. But for us, repatriation, getting stuff back is not the end journey. So what do we do with all this? Where does it go? How does it happen? Those 30 trips we've done have all majority been self-funded. So in one way we're fortunate, we've got a major gold mine on our country, the Granites gold mine. And through the Central Land Council, through our corporations, that royalty money is used so well. We've got our own corporation at Yuendumu and at Lajamanu that fund all our trips. The 30 trips we've done, we fund ourselves because it's our business. Part of the funding is that we pay our cultural advisors money when they do their trips for their knowledge, their wisdom. We've just recently also been approved for stage 1 of building a new keeping place. What's that, 65, so that's 70 years later, I think, from the first one. So we're now into stage 1 soon of building a brand new keeping place where we can continue the legacy. It's funded by our own money, like the first one was, and we want to train young men into how to conserve and learn about their sacred objects. So the continued legacy, as I said, it's about continuing the legacy of our elders, our ancestors. We do work according to our law, our skin groups, sons, grandsons, great-grandchildren, and we do it with men who have cultural authority, cultural responsibility. That's how important repatriation is to us. So, Walpari cultural governance frameworks. We hear the term quite often now that about cultural authority. Well, this is what it is for us. As I said, the Walpari project's Walpari-led. It follows traditional Walpari protocols such as ceremonial responsibility, our kinship system, which you can see on the screen. We've got 16 skin groups, 8 male, 8 female, equal, all have responsibility. I don't expect you to understand that framework there with the skin groups, but it's probably one of the oldest skin groups in the world that still continues today. So when we talk about the oldest living culture, there it is. The roles, very important. Within the skin groups, everyone is an owner or a guardian of country, depending on what country and what skin group you come from. It's a paternal line, your father's father. And then you see there amazing 5 core pillars. That's our world view. That's our cultural framework that we live in. To be Walpari, you need to know your country. You need to know your law, and you need to be participating in your ceremony. You need to know your language, and you need to know your skin groups. So based on the skin groups, based on the 5 core pillars, Nora Kulu, we've set up our own corporation, Koriji Wida, Cultural Authority Yuendumu Aboriginal Corporation. We want this to be the front door into our communities. We want government across the 3 levels to acknowledge a 4th tier of governance in this country. At the moment, the Toyotas drive in and they drive out. Cultural authority, people who hold the knowledge, sit there and see the same thing. So government, this is our front door. It's on the ORIC website, so if you want to read our rule book, you want to have a look at our aims, objectives, the structure, the meetings, the membership. But what we need is help to begin building our membership, because we've got the 16 skin groups, so there's a lot of work ahead. As I said at the start, it's about challenging colonial narrative, it's about nation building, it's about creating a framework of respect and transformative museum practices. So the other thing we do is we actually work alongside museum staff. There's been museums, I won't name them, but they've had on display sacred objects. Women are also involved, where they've advised museum staff that, hey, you can't have that particular stuff up there, it's sacred. So it's about a dual workload and responsibility. It's a bit of a flow chart of how our objects connect to the Walpari perspective. The objects, as I said, there's thousands. We're not just talking about objects and shields that you see up here and on the presentation. There's people's dental casts. Between 1950 and 1970, the Adelaide Dental School studied our mob's teeth for 20 years, gave them sugar, lollies, come back, see what was happening with their teeth, took their casts. We buried an ancestor 3 years ago. We're looking at burying 4 more ancestors this year. There's people's hair, people's blood. The list goes on and on and on. So, skin and family group, site, country, ceremony, all those 5 core pillars are foundations to our culture. Just on our returns, this is just with IATSIS alone, with the Return of Cultural Heritage team. Only last week in Adelaide we got a repatriation of a private collector, 4,000 items from a private collector here in Australia are now back with us, and that provides an opportunity to generate work, employment and transfer the knowledge. As I said, last year we were in Frankfurt. There's a photo there of us, Mr. Hargreaves there. That was in October, November last year in Germany. There's 5, so just with IATSIS alone, 3 international returns, 45 objects, 5,000 archival items, 150 sacred objects from domestic museums, 161 hair samples, ancestral remains, and 80 objects from personal collections. So thanks. That's an amazing workload over the last 6 years. We've also got $2 million to commence work on a cultural centre in Yuendumu. That's on top of the keeping place. However, we are finding it hard for the body holding the $2 million to come and talk to the Cultural Authority and to the Walpari project. Even though we lobbied for it and we worked hard in identifying and knowing what the collection is, we still find it hard that people aren't coming through that front door. Very hard. Phase 2, as you see, the Yuendumu Cultural Centre is secured. We're just waiting for people to come and see us and tap into our knowledge. Keeping place, stage 1's been approved by the Yuendumu GMAC. That'll commence for the keeping place. Unprovenance collections, a lot of work around stuff that is not known, there's not much information on it. Further research and elders visits, that'll continue. And project moving on to country, new positions. So we're looking at, we heard the Prime Minister yesterday talk about RGED. We're definitely keen to see an extension of the Ranger program. The Ranger program is an outstanding program. We'd like to see heritage collection officers as an addition or add-on to that, so young people can start to work with Cultural Authority, men and women, and have a paid job for that. I think it's an area. We've got partnerships with the national cultural institutions, not only in Australia, around the world. So I think there's a real opportunity to create new jobs through RGED in cultural heritage offices. So that's part of phase 2 that we're working on, as well as the exhibitions and truth-telling. So what I'll do now, that's my bit done, and the next bit is the photo. You got that photo up? So I should have explained at the start that our presentation's in 2 parts. One's about how we're trying to rebuild the Walpari Nation from the colonial impact that I talked about, from government policies like the intervention that you might know about, the Northern Territory intervention, the amalgamation of our council, the displacement of our authority, trying to rebuild our nation through repatriation. And we started with repatriation because that's our culture. That's the foundational document. That's like our constitution. Those objects are so important that we started with that work first. The second part, as I said, is the cultural infrastructure. It's the keeping place. It's the cultural centre, so we can build stuff on our country. Look around us here. Look what they've done up here. It's an inspiration. Why can't we do that in Central Australia? The third element is cultural governance. We want the government to recognise that we have a cultural governance framework. You've seen it. We live it. That's what we want as part of the Walpari project. But while we take these steps forward, we're continually having to take steps back. Our family, Kumanjay Walker. Our family, Kumanjay White. The justice system, the police. That's fine to come out and get photos, politicians, with us. But don't work against us, work with us. We've got a framework, we've got the ideas, we've got the solutions. Which brings me to the next part of our presentation. It's our continual fight for justice. Despite the positive things we do, the economic things we bring to this country through our mining, it's massive. But why do we have to keep fighting for justice? So there's the call for the Whanakiario government. They're the three calls for action. And I'll hand over now to my cousin, Ned Hargreaves, to talk about justice. Thank you.
I want to say thank you, Wadji people, and it's wonderful to be here. It's great to be here with our countrymen. And my name's Ned Jampijinpa, and I'm a Walpari spokesman as well as the elder among with my two elders here with me today. I want to share with you something that I've always against the people that are against us. John Howard embraces us with the new law that the intervention that he put to us, that ripped us apart, ripped the guts out of us. You know? We are human beings. We want to be treated as an Australian citizen, Australian person, and a First Nation of this country. And as you know, we have suffered a lot. We cannot live in a country that is our own country. We cannot be living in fear with our generations, with our children that are growing up and want to live free. Prime Minister, I've written a letter to you on behalf of my family, Kumanjay White, who was strangled in the broad daylight at a shopping center. This really hurts me. It hurts the community as well as the family. We are devastated. How much more can this go on? Our children and their children's children cannot be living in fear. You white people today, you go home, you have no fear.
You don't get police to watch over you or being humbugged. The only person that today can change this around is a prime minister. I know that he's not here today. I wasn't very happy of being here, him here, because he had to leave. I am not going to read what's here that I wrote to him, but I know that we as a family wrote a letter to him and saying that we urge you to come and sort this matter. Help us. We said to him to come. But he hasn't. And today, he's not here today. I was going to read this letter to him. But I'm not going to read it to you. But later on, maybe if the media or someone comes see me, we'll talk. But to us, for Yapa, it's got to stop. Only that one person can turn it around. It's the minister. It's got to stop. I want to say thank you, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you, my cousin. I know my cousin asked the Prime Minister yesterday if we could go down to Canberra and maybe have a talk there. We've got a couple of our Walpari ladies here as well. My big sister Valerie Martin, Jampijinpa, my cousin Sharon S.A. Anderson, Jampijinpa, sorry, my head's Waranga. I'm looking at your beanie, Collingwood. I'm upset.
Collingwood.
So
Not only that, Yuendumu is black and white.
I'll give them some time. I'll
I'm
give
not
them some
wearing it.
time to have a quick talk about the work you do in community. I know you've both been really strong advocates, leaders for a long time, so we got a little bit of time if you want to have a talk. Wangam.
That's all.
Mate?
Yeah, we tanga in Wangam.
Yeah.
Yeah. What I do, younger.
Yeah.
Repatriation. We started going. I'm originally from Yuendumu, but I live in town because lack of housing in, as usual, overcrowded. I lost one of my sons. I had to move in town. They couldn't find any housing for me, so I had to move into town. That's where I am, which is too far, but I still go back home, do my bit as a cultural elder. Whenever there's a cultural thing happening, I go out and help my elders, which I am involved a lot, which is really good that I've learned in the past years since I came a mother and a grandmother and a great-great-grandmother. I'm still learning. We've got a lot to go yet. Still got a lot to go. Each one of us need to practice our culture and to be strong on it and have that strong knowledge, which I've found for the last few days here. So amazing. When I came here first time in history, and I got a shock of my life. So fantastic, the way it's set up. Our brothers and sisters up here. And down there, we're struggling with a lot of fundings and all that. Time and time again. I've got too many hats that I'm involved with. Some of them, one of them is CLC, where the mining comes in, good a director that I fight hard for the kids' future to have money put in through WET. So it's really, hard for us to tackle where the funding's going with our government. I wonder when we're going to close the cap. That's my theory. I mightn't be alive then. What's going to happen? We need help and support from our own government. Enough is enough what we lost, 2 people, young people. Thank you.
Hello, good morning, everyone. My name is Sharon Anderson. I'm from Lajamano. And the work that I do, I'm on many boards with Walpari Education Training Trust, World Vision, A-Bond Education Steering Committee, and with Central Land Council as Secretary. And education has always been my passion for my kids in the community, my families. Yeah, I've started working at the school and I became very passionate about education. And what I do after the school hours program with World Vision, we do unlock literacy. That's teaching our little kids in Walpari, We use our own curriculum. And being on the Central Land Council as a delegate, it's been really challenging for the last 9 years. I've been re-elected again this year. Yeah. And I thank my people back home from Lajamano.
I might just introduce Mr. Granitz. He's going to just say a few words in his role as an elder, maybe a little bit about what you think Walpari project, how important, and then we've got a little presentation coming up. So just while we're waiting for Jampijinpa, he's coming. We might ask Mr. Yuendumu Jawa, if you can come to the stage. And the sisters, his sisters here, family, all the family.
I want to present this shield. This painting is Ngapa dreaming. It's rain dreaming, my dreaming. My dreaming, as well as my son. My son here, Lazarus Hargreaves, he's going to present that to this family, to our family. And so
I'd like to say thank you to the family of Yuendumu, and that's why it was the first time for us to be here, coming through to this Kama. And we have really enjoyed our stay and stayed for this watchful young people doing all the cultural dances. And that was the only time that really admired us to be here, just to talk to the elders of our of Gumatji people and to let them know that we are very interested in coming here and to be joining with them as a partner within the whole of Northern Territory and for the whole of the Northern Territory and to look after ourselves because we don't have any government people looking after us, but we don't want them because we not really want them because we got our own government. Our governments are out at the community of Yuendumu, which are the real elders and the real people that really helped us in supporting our young kids. Thank you, thank you.
Shake in.
As they're exchanging gifts, how can we help the Walpari project? What do corporates and ordinary citizens and government officials that are here, how do we help the Walpari project?
Yeah, thanks. Well, there's a number of ways. We've got a website. As I said, just Google Walpari Project. We've got a Facebook page. Get connected to what we do, the work we do. There's an email there. If there's in-kind support, any other support you can provide, contact us on email. We are looking at a very similar model, as I said, to Yothuyindifoundation Foundation and a trust. We've got a number of trusts already, but the Walpari project is looking at setting up a trust. So if you've got any pro bono help, any ideas, anyone that can help us set up a trust fund, more than welcome. Get in touch with us on email.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Please. Uncle Ned, we just want to close by saying thank you for bringing the Walpari to Gama Festival. I've heard many leaders speak over many years and your words always resonate with me. Your passion for your community comes through, but also your fight for justice is our fight for justice, and we should never let that go. And we thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you, everybody.
Please put your hands together for the Walpari project. Thank you very much.